Hi, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Trevor, and welcome to Catching Up on Cinema. If you're not familiar with the program, Catching Up on Cinema is a podcast wherein Kyle and I take turns introducing one another to films. Essentially, what that means is usually we'll pick an episode wherein one of us is intimately familiar with a film and wants to have the other one of us watch it for the first time. What we're doing today, though, is something good like this is not that. So pardon the lengthy introduction, but what we're doing today is something on the show we like to call Catching Up on Blu-Ray. Catching Up on Blu-Ray is a sequence on the show wherein we look at the calendar month of physical media releases and just say a little something about anything that catches our eye. So in this case, we're going to be covering the Blu-ray and DVD and 4K releases of the month of July 2019.
For you physical media heads out there.
Yeah, for people who like to put shit on shelves and occasionally watch it.
I buy Criterion Blu-rays like I buy books. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this one day. I've never seen it. I don't know. I read the description. It's good enough for me. I'm gonna watch it one day. That's kind of what I use this for.
See, I mean, for me, that is part of the fun of watching films. Is I kind of like blind buying things sometimes.
Yeah,
it's just like I only know a little bit about this, and that's enough to get me invested.
I haven't been disappointed with a single thing I've bought yet. By the way, Hagazusa still on Prime right now. So,
okay, we'll have to get to that at some point. So, without further ado, let's get to the month of July 2019. If you're not familiar with the format, most physical media releases occur on Tuesdays. So July 1st, we have something called the Days of Noah, and this would be, I believe, a Monday release. So this is a off-day release.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what that is, so we're going to skip it and move on to July 2nd, which would be the first Tuesday of July, which would be the first proper release date. And right from the get-go, our first row of film releases appear to all be foreign films. With some striking cover art. Putney Swope? Or Putney Swope from 1969. Dark satire in which the token black man on the executive board of an advertising firm is accidentally put in charge. Renaming the business Truth and Soul Incorporated, he replaces the tight regime of moneyed white ad men with his militant brothers. Soon afterwards, however, the power that comes with its position takes its toll on Putney. Sounds interesting for 1969.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool cover. It's somebody flipping the bird with what appears to be a woman serving as the middle finger. Beside that, we have Les Dolos. It's from Kino, so that's a good sign of quality. It appears to be French. French New Wave icon Jean-Paul Belmondo stars as Cillian, a poker-faced crook who may or may not have squealed on newly sprung gangster Maurice Fauyel in this ice-cool noir from the great Jean-Pierre Melville. I don't know if it's good, but it's from 1963 and it's a Kino release, so there's a very good chance it's a classic that I just don't know. What else we got here, Kyle?
Yeah, nothing's really popping out to me. I was expecting July to be kind of a slow month because it's summertime and people are out doing stuff, not really sitting inside with their physical media. I've never heard of a single one of these things. I'm assuming you're going to go ahead and buy Escape Plan, the Extractors on Blu-ray.
I'm not going to buy it. I might rent it. But this is the third this is the third Escape Plan film. I think the second one was called Hades, and it was filmed concurrently with the Extractors, which is the third one. Dave Bautista is on the cover.
Yeah.
He's in Hades as well. And Hades had a lot of China fluffing in it. There's some pretty big-name Chinese actors and Taiwanese actors in that one. This one does not have that as far as I know. Oh, it has Devon Sawa.
Oh, wow.
Points.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Jean-Paul Belmondo looks like the French Clint Eastwood. That seems to be the depth of his of his roles that he takes on.
Lot of leather jackets and revolvers.
He is looking straight Treat Williams in The Outsider there.
Yeah, he is. I like his jeans, the placement of them, how they're kind of high. That's a Treat Williams move.
No, that's a big time, yeah.
And also the hand positioning.
What? I'm sorry to sidetrack us there. What is the name of that? The director of Cell Block and Vince Vaughn movie that you're super excited about because he's directed that new movie with Mel Gibson and I think Vince Vaughn.
Dragged Across Concrete.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When are we expecting that?
Oh, that came out months ago, bud.
Did it? Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
I have not yet, but I definitely want to. The director's name is S. Craig Zoller, and if you're not familiar, he has a knack for slow burns, and when it burns, it goes full fucking inferno. Because holy shit, the closing acts of his movies are just sensational.
There's a difference between slow burn and boring, and I feel like people get those two mixed up. You can still have an engaging film that's a slow burn, but
absolutely,
like, it's a slow burn, but it picks up at the end. But people are like, it's kind of boring, but then it picks up at the end. We need to make that distinction, because I have no problem with a slow burn, and I've been trying to find more horror movies to watch. And like, yeah, it's a slow burn, but it picks up at the end. I'm like, well, that's fine. Is it engaging? Is it good? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I just had to cut that out.
To me, actually, slow burn is like a term of endearment, because really you wouldn't advertise a film with that quote unless there was a payoff, unless it actually worked, unless it actually added up to something. Otherwise, it is just a boring film. But if you can pull off that trick, makes for some wildly entertaining films.
If that's available for streaming, I might watch Batman and then I'm gonna watch that, I think, or vice versa.
It should be. I mean, it's been out for a little while, and I think it's at the Redbox at the very least. Dragged Across Concrete, that is. So moving right along, we got a bunch of anime coming out because that happens every month because it's a goddamn industry and people buy that shit. Dragon Ball Super Volume 8. Have not touched that other than the Broly movie, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Oko's Inn. I'm not saying anything about any of this stuff because I have nothing to say about it. However, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin. This is the second half of the Origin series. This is the subtitle on it here says The Chronicle of the Loum Battlefield. So this would be where the Origin series catches up to the original Gundam series from 1979. I'm very excited about this because it's the first half of it was quite good, and I'm a Gundam fanatic when it comes to Universal Century stuff, and this is a chance to see modern animation applied to a story that was written in 1979 and originally animated back then, jankily as fuck. So putting a new coat of paint on it is something I'd actually really like to see. What else we got here?
Lots of anime.
Lots of anime. We're not even going to bother with that shit. Best of Enemies. What is that? Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell and Taraji P. Henson. Oh, I remember seeing this advertised. Civil rights activist Ann Atwater faces off against C.P. Ellis, exalted Cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan in 1971 Durham, North Carolina, over the issue of school integration. That looks heavy.
Yeah. The cover doesn't make it look like it.
I thought that was fucking Mickey Rourke for a second.
I thought it was Patrick Wilson.
Oh, yeah, actually, with that hair.
Yeah, that's a Patrick Wilson
and with those lips. That is a Patrick Wilson do. I like Patrick Wilson.
We all do.
We all do. Except when he has Aquaman hair. We just laugh and laugh.
That is great.
2017, Dead Trigger. That's Dolph. That's Dolph. Dolph Lundgren. I won't be watching that, but I mean, I'm just glad to see he's still working because Dolph has a particular performance style that sometimes it works. Like, I don't know if you bothered to see Creed 2.
I've never seen a single Dolph Lundgren movie. Not a single one.
Oh, well, he's only a small element of Creed 2. But, like Van Damme, his wrinkles have done a lot to enhance his acting capability. It's just, it just works, you know?
Yeah.
Like, having this gravel-voiced, wrinkly Swede be all badass. It just works. So I don't really see anything else that jumps out at me for the week of July 2nd. So let's skip on down to July 9th. And right off the bat, we have something for me. Mothra from 1961. I was never the biggest fan of the original Mothra movie. It was directed by Ishiro Honda, who is the same guy who did the original Godzilla movie. I didn't start to care about Mothra till I saw Godzilla vs. Mothra, which came out a few years after the first Mothra film. Needs to be said, Mothra was always my mom's favorite Godzilla monster. And the Mothra song is something that I memorized when I was a child. It's been with me my whole life. So there's a place in my heart for Mothra. Silent Hill, Kyle. This is a re-release of it from 2006. What are your feelings on Silent Hill?
I never finished it. I didn't get a chance to finish it. And I think I was leaving Harvard. I was leaving our old job, and I had to give it back to you, so I want to make sure I got it back to you. Do you want me to finish it? Because I've been burned twice by horror movies this week, and it's really pissing me off. Autopsy of Jane Doe was a disappointment.
Hey, you took that on yourself.
I know, but see,
yeah, you didn't have to watch that, and you did get a good Brian Cox clip out of it.
It was fuck. It's the best. It's the best fuck I've ever heard. Oh my goodness. If you haven't seen Autopsy of Jane Doe, don't watch it. Just scroll till you get Brian Cox in the elevator and just watch that scene and enjoy the best fuck ever heard in cinema history. But no, I got burned by another one, and I was just extremely disappointed the last two I've watched, and I'm like, well, I could probably finish Silent Hill. I might watch Martyrs. I think that might be the one I'm going to watch tonight.
I haven't finished Martyrs, but
I've heard it's brutal.
When I was in my college days and I was perusing internet forums about the goriest movies and like the most intense horror movies of all time, Martyrs was one that was high on the list, and I never got around to it, but I've never forgotten about it. Horror is one of those funny genres for me because it's like wrestling. I spend endless hours reading about it, but I very seldom watch it. Yeah, I very seldom watch it, so I appreciate it from afar. So if you mention like a big horror movie, chances are I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen it.
See,
and,
I want to be
the case with Martyrs.
I want to be scared, and I keep trying to find movies that are going to keep me like on edge while I'm watching them, and I can't find them. So maybe I just need to go for brutal. I need to get like really uncomfortable. I don't know. The last few I've been trying to find a good atmospheric horror film, and it's not working.
Well, I put on the episode list fucked up shit. I'm planning a month of just fucked up shit movies. And We Are the Flesh jumped out at me as something I'd like to see expressly for the purpose of experiencing something fucked up. Every once in a while, I think that's good for you.
Trevor.
Martyr. Oh, go ahead.
There is I learned today on Reddit, there is an entire genre of fucked up films that you and I have never even heard of. These are films that are these are obscure like foreign films from like the 60s or from like the 70s, the 80s. And they are just garbage B-movie horror movies, but they are brutal. I found a few names, and I looked up the trailers and looked up the idea behind it, and it is graphic, like hardcore stuff. So We Are the Flesh is probably a very tasteful spin on what these movies were trying to accomplish, but I feel like We Are the Flesh is probably going to be better than the stuff I was reading about.
What's the genre called?
Oh no, it's just graphic horror movies where there's it's not a genre. I'm sorry, but the genre is fucked up horror movies, but
Okay, gotcha.
that's what I was getting at. Like they're out there. It's just they're hard to find, and you really have to be like in that community to find them.
Well, I know the French, the French in the early to mid 2000s were cranking out really, really, really violent, intense horror movies. Like
That's where Martyrs falls on the list.
I think that may have been Spanish.
That's
but yeah,
French.
it like Oh, it is similar
French.
time period. And then what was it? Inside was one that I've always wanted to see. It's about
Ooh.
a pregnant woman home invasion
Oh.
movie. It's apparently very, very brutal.
Oh Jesus!
And then High Tension was one I think you've seen.
Yes, I have not seen that. You would think that I have. I haven't.
I have,
but
and it lives up to its reputation.
oh wow.
But obviously, this is something we ought to get to on the show because we have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
Silent Hill is not gonna scare you.
Damn it.
It's a beautiful film in a lot of regards, though, especially if you're familiar with the game that it's based on, because a lot of the images and almost all of the music are lifted directly from the games, and it's from a visual standpoint, from an audio-visual standpoint, it's quite a trip, but it's uncomfortable at times. There is some violence in the movie that's like, ooh, that was mean, but I don't know that it's a good film in the
The traditional
strictest
horror
sense.
sense, yeah.
Yeah, especially from an acting standpoint. I think the director is French, and it shows a little bit because the film is shot in English, and some of the performances are pretty stiff. But anyway, let's move on. This Island Earth. I have never actually seen this movie without the Mystery Science Theater 3000 commentary on it. It's apparently a good 1950s sci-fi movie, but the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie used this as the movie that they did commentary for, and that was maybe one of the most important movies I saw as a young person. My brother rented it from Blockbuster. We got Hulk and Waterworld on 4K.
No, thank you.
Waterworld got that like super duper special edition release on Blu-ray from Arrow a couple months ago. I think that had like the making of documentary, and
I would watch that.
I said it before. I may purchase that just for that because the making of Waterworld is a fascinating story.
I would like to watch that. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, if I pick it up, I'll get it to you somehow. Moving on now, we got the Tough Ones from 1976. That's a fun cover.
Yeah.
Alphaville, is that? Oh, that
It
is
looks
not
like
Michael Caine.
it looks
I
like
thought it was
Michael
Michael Caine.
It's too old. The guy's too old for 1965 to be Michael Caine. But
Yeah,
Eddie Constantine? I don't know who that is.
I don't either, but it's from 1965. It looks like a noir. Tough Turf.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, James
have not.
Spader. Yeah, it's not somebody I go out of my way for.
But Robert Downey. Robert Downey Jr.'s in there.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s career before the 90s wasn't my bag. That's just me. He was having a different career.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of like teen boob comedies and stuff.
Well, he did The Pickup Artist, which is god awful. That movie sucks so much.
Back to
Yeah.
school.
Tough Turf. He did a couple of movies with Anthony Michael Hall, I know. But yeah.
I feel like this movie's getting re-released now just because of the font, because kids these days like that font and like those clothes.
You can probably pass on this, kids.
No, I'm not going to bother with that. But beside that, we have our first Criterion release for the month, I believe. It's the BRD Trilogy. What is that?
I don't know. Go for it.
So, Fassbinder, a podcast that you and I listen to, makes mention of this director every once in a while. So looks like Digipack, The Marriage of Maria Braun, Veronica Voss, and Lola. Those are 4 names, but so these appear to be Fassbinder films. I'm not familiar with the director, but apparently they are known. among certain circles. And obviously this is a Criterion release, so it's probably worth your time and money.
Yeah.
Beside that, we have Pet Sematary on 4K. This would be the 2019 Pet Sematary. Have you seen the original, Kyle?
I have not. I've wanted to, and I wanted to watch it with Steph, but she's like, no, it's going to be too scary. I'm like, it's not going to be scary. It's an 80s horror movie. They weren't scary, okay?
I enjoyed it. It's not not in the traditional sense. It's not a good movie, but has that Stephen King magic to it, where it's like it strings you along. Like you don't feel like you're wasting your time. You're caught up in it. And there's some images, and there are some images in that movie that are memorable for sure. I've heard mixed things about the remake.
It probably
sadly
is not good.
I've heard. Yeah, I mean the marketing for it actually looked not bad, and I like Jason Clarke. He's not a selling point for me, but I've never seen him turn in a bad performance, except for maybe Terminator Genisys. Sadly, I heard John Lithgow he phones it in a little bit, which is surprising because he's usually very reliable, and I love him.
And I love him.
I love him. He's great. He
Yeah,
sells me.
good.
He sells me soup. He did soup commercials, and I bought into it. But yeah, I'll probably end up like watching this when it's free. I won't even go to the trouble to. Even go to the trouble to rent it.
No, I wouldn't.
If
either.
it ends up on like Amazon or something, I'll watch it. But other than that, I'm not gonna bother. Moving on down, we got Dead of Night, 1945. It's another Kino release. Probably good. That's a striking cover for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like an old-timey like wood carving or something, like a wood block print or something. An architect senses impending doom as his half-remembered recurring dream turns into reality. The guests at the country house encourage him to stay as they take turns telling supernatural tales. Huh. Again, 1945, Kino, probably good. Another Criterion release. Europa, 1990.
Yeah.
That's a striking cover.
Yeah.
Why you gotta have a name like that? Agnieszka Holland? Yeah, that's how you say that. Oh, it's oh no, World War II.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a Star of David on a Criterion release. Where did you think this was gonna go?
Yeah, heavy shit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So beside that, we have High Life, starring Robert Pattinson. It has a Rotten Tomatoes seal of approval, so they're trying to sell it. They're trying to sell it, Kyle.
That doesn't. That's like the sticker that says this is not good.
No, that's the exact opposite of what it says. It says it's excellent. You should dump all of your money into this.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think I saw a few clips from this, and it actually did look interesting. It looked like a hard sell, but it looked like whoever made it had something they wanted to say with it. We got some trashy shit like Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Savage Beach, and Picasso Trigger. I would not be surprised if these were Andy Sidaris. I'm pretty sure that is the guy who did Hard Ticket to Hawaii. It's basically softcore porn mixed with action movies from the 80s.
Nice.
Very, very uncomfortable to watch in a group. I had my I had to like reach for the fast forward button a few times when we were watching Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I was like, "Hey guys, this is great, but not
along.
You know,
move along.
Not with a room full of dudes." Buster Keaton collection, that's kind of cool. Some of his stuff is amazing. That cover for The Extraordinary World of Charlie Bowers looks kind of fun. Wow, 1918 to 1941, so that must be like
Really old.
Yeah, that must be like a career summary of some sort. Peter Pan from 1924 from Kino? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's... I was not aware that film existed.
No, I did not either. I think it's a girl playing Peter Pan, which must have been... I've seen that reprised before. I've seen, like, like theater productions where a girl plays Peter Pan. This must have been inspiration for it.
They did that with that live performance thing they did on like NBC or ABC or one of those channels where Christopher Walken was Captain Hook.
Yeah, they did it with Hook too in the school play.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh, The Annihilators. That's a cool cover. 1985.
Yeah, right.
Kino? Upon his return from Vietnam, an ex-soldier finds his neighborhood has deteriorated badly and is being terrorized by a vicious street gang. He calls some of his GI buddies, and together they hatch a plan to get rid of the gang. So the Punisher with his buddies. Wow. That sounds extraordinarily lowbrow for a Kino release. Sounds awesome, though. I'll probably watch it.
Lonesome Dove, which I thought was a series. Wasn't that a series?
It says 1989.
I think there's a movie. They must have did a series as well. At least I think. Could be wrong.
No, it is a series.
Okay.
It says the runtime is 374 minutes. I hope that's a series.
A mini-series in there.
Yeah. Transit, that's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Transit from Music Box Films. When a man flees France after the Nazi invasion. God damn Nazis! Yeah. He assumes the identity of a dead author whose papers he possesses. Stuck in Marseille, he meets a young woman desperate to find her missing husband, the very man he's impersonating. I will not watch that.
Nope. There's not much else that I would watch. Yeah, what? Johnny Depp.
What?
Yeah.
What is that?
Probably unwatchable.
I should hope so, but I wasn't aware of this existing. The
exactly
professor
why it's probably
from Johnny
unwatchable.
Yeah. A college professor lives his life with reckless abandon after being diagnosed with a terminal illness.
No.
So Johnny Depp in real life, but he's not sick.
I could see him having cancer. I'm waiting for it. He's
with the way he goes about things, yeah.
A little smoking, a little drinking. Let's see here. Little, which looks unwatchable. Mojin. Do you know anything about
Little? I think is like Reverse Big. It's like a remake, but it's Reverse Big.
Yeah. That's okay.
Loving Vincent. That's a re-release. So would have had. The Stranger Beside Me. Ted Bundy stuff.
More Ted Bundy stuff.
Everybody loves Ted Bundy stuff.
He really is having a moment right now.
I don't know what it is, but like people love serial killers. And yeah, that appears to be the end for that week. The rest of it's just kind of anime and concert videos.
Garbage this month.
Yeah, let's move on down to July 16th. First major release is Shazam on 4K.
Don't even know what that is.
This would be DC Comics' Captain Marvel. Actually, the character is supposed to be named Captain Marvel, but due to
legal reasons,
licensing issues, due to legal reasons, any property featuring the character needs to be titled Shazam. This I've heard is actually quite good. It looked like Superbad meets a superhero movie or something.
Have you heard anything? Is it any good?
Yeah, no, I've heard it's actually very good and underappreciated. Because it's a small movie. It's low budget for the most part. It's kind of like Big, where a young boy gains superpowers that make him like Superman, but with magic powers, and he turns into this adult character that you see on the cover here, and it's about him like leading this dual life as like an orphan that lives in an orphanage with his orphan friends, and then turning into a superhero every once in a while. So it's kind of like a Rookie of the Year or something. I've heard it's a lot of fun. I might actually watch that. Beside that, we have Moon on 4K.
I still have not watched it. This is one of those movies where I know what I need to be in the mood for. I kind of get the tone, and it's hard to be in that mood. You know what I mean? When you're trying to deload, it's not a deload kind of movie. But I've heard it's really, really good, and I will get around to watching it.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was really, really good, but Sam Rockwell, can't go wrong.
I'm a big Sam Rockwell fan, so I will probably really like it.
The director, Duncan Jones, has had a interesting path. Because he made this, and then he made Warcraft, and then he made something on Netflix. So he went from having this tiny movie, Moon, that was ultra critically acclaimed, to making this big giant CGI fest in the form of Warcraft. And if not for the Chinese film market, it would have flopped monstrously. And he's kind of in limbo at the moment. I think that was David Bowie's son or something, Duncan Jones. Beside that, we have a Criterion release, Klute from 1971. Donald Sutherland in the 70s. Can't go wrong. Oh, yeah, and Jane Fonda. Can't go wrong. Oh, Roy Scheider also. I like him. Cool cover, very 70s. Criterion, probably worth your time.
Yep.
From the Earth to the Moon, that was something I remember being on. It was, I forget if it was HBO or if it was just on basic cable, but that was a good time. I enjoyed that. I might actually go back and watch that. That was in the aftermath of Apollo 13. Interest in space was really up at the time. So Tom Hanks, I think, dumped a bunch of money into financing it. It's a big deal. What else we got here? Another Criterion, The Baker's Wife from 1938. Okay.
Yep, I'm fine.
Not the most thrilling cover. Probably not gonna watch it.
No.
The Chill Factor from
I saw that.
Anchor.
The Chill Factor.
So we had last month a skiing slasher. This appears to be a snowmobile slasher. Very cool. Very cool. The fuck is going on with this cover for Strays? It's from Shout Factory, so it's probably garbage. But it's from 1991, and it appears to be a cat smashing through a door. And they say cats have 9 lives. Will one of them be yours? Okay, so killer cat movie. Okay. What is this? Ash is Purest White. This appears to be a Chinese film. I've heard the title. I know nothing about it. Cohen Media Group. They're a distributor that I'm starting to see pop up more often. Wow. Yeah, this month is not great.
It is not great.
That cover for Fast Color is, that's kind of cool imagery. Breakthrough, the very, very, very Christian film. Starring that lady from that show. And the man who was Luke Cage, who is now unemployed, Mike Coulter. Oh shit, Scott Adkins, Abduction. This is a Roger Corman produced film, starring Scott Adkins and Andy On. If I remember right, they worked together on Black Mask 2. This looks terrible. You may have to look up a trailer for it just so you can see how terrible. Terrible to the point that I, a Scott Adkins fanatic, will more than likely just skip this one.
Oh, really?
It looks bad to the point that I just can't do it. And yeah, even the prospect of him and Andy On, who is also a very, very talented martial artist, having a scene together, it's yeah, maybe I'll just wait till somebody puts their scene on YouTube and just watch that. Because the rest of it looks terrible. So I think that's about it for that week. Yeah. Let's move on to July 23rd.
Finally something.
Yeah,
Jesus.
this is a big week. This is a very big week, in fact. July 23rd. Mark your calendar. Alita, Battle Angel on 4K and 3D. This is the Robert Rodriguez adaptation of the manga/OVA, Battle Angel Alita. For some reason, they decided to flip the title. Not sure why. This was one of those anime that, in the blockbuster era of anime, was a big one. And unfortunately, the OVA, the animated form of it, was only a couple episodes long and really did not get into the story at all. But the combination of the aesthetics and the setting and stuff made it kind of special. So I haven't seen this movie, but it got very, very, very mixed reviews, and I'm actually kind of I'm very curious to see what they do with it, because it covers a lot of themes that, I don't know, resonate with me. And I mean, it's got fucking cyborgs. Everybody likes cyborgs. And Robert Rodriguez, when he comes to play, like if he's all in on something, he can turn out some great work. And Christoph Waltz, man.
Yeah, I was kind of burned by Spectre, so.
Oh yeah,
Christoph Waltz doesn't carry the same weight as he did.
Yeah, you learned that he can indeed phone it in. He has it in him. But that's something that I'll probably end up renting, just to see what's up. Weird Science from 1985. I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one. That's a fun 80s movie.
I don't know that I'd blind buy it, but you and my brother have mentioned it on the show numerous times, and it makes me feel like, fuck, I gotta see that and the Goonies. I'm falling.
Yeah, it's insane to me that you haven't seen the Goonies. It's really shocking, and that it's not gonna capture. You're not gonna get the magic now watching the Goonies, because as a kid, it is your kid fantasy of finding treasure, and these kids fucking do it. It's just not gonna carry the same weight. But you need to watch it. It's an important part of our culture, and you should be ashamed that you haven't seen it. So.
You're a bad person.
Yeah.
That is all.
Do the right thing. I know it's a Spike Lee joint. Is that what it says at the top? The Spike Lee.
It does.
Yeah, it does say Spike Lee joint.
They're doing it right. They're doing it right.
I've never seen this. Honestly, I haven't seen hardly any Spike Lee films, but I know of them. That's kind of where he is with me. He's like, I know of his films, I know a little bit about them, but I've never actually seen many of them.
My brother was really up on that one. I remember him trying to get me to watch it when I was young, but I never got around to it, unfortunately. Besides that, we have...
I didn't realize 1984 came out in 1984. I did not know that.
Some producer knew what they were doing. Like, that's a good way to build hype.
John Hurt, and then whoever plays the lady he bangs. If you've ever seen, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I'm afraid of rats. I don't like rats and mice. And this, you've seen the scene, right? You know the scene I'm talking about? Yeah.
I watched this in school.
Yeah, I did too. It gets me every time I think about it. I'm like, fuck that shit. Yeah, I might rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember liking the book. But The Doors, Oliver Stone's The Doors.
Yeah, this one's important to you, right?
I love this movie. I've seen it several times. Probably my favorite Val Kilmer movie. Yeah, he does such a good job doing Jim Morrison, and even his singing is pretty good. I highly recommend. You should definitely own this. I definitely think it's worth a watch. But yeah, if you buy it, you'll definitely get something out of it. And if there's any special features on here, I'm sure you would probably like the cast and crew, like any kind of interviews that they have with Val Kilmer or Oliver Stone.
Wow, I'm looking at the cast: Val Kilmer, Meg Ryan, Kyle MacLachlan, Kevin Dillon, and Michael Wincott.
Michael Wincott, yes.
Wow. So one thing I should point out to you is that this is a 4K release. So it remains to be seen if it holds up to the visual standard of 4K. But in very, very, very small print underneath the title of the film, it says The Final Cut.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know if there was a director's cut, but it sounds like there likely was, because the way it's advertised, if you look at the detailed view of this film, it says 1 movie, 2 cuts. So apparently there's a theatrical and some other form of the film.
Interesting.
So maybe you might want to look into it.
I might.
So moving on down, we got Hellboy.
Yeah.
The 2019 David Harbour Hellboy. This was directed by Neil Marshall, who we covered one of his other films. That would be Dog Soldiers. That was part of why I wanted to do Dog Soldiers.
My brother when we posted Dog Soldiers, he was so excited. He's like, "You guys did Dog Soldiers? That's awesome!"
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was really happy about that one.
I'm glad to hear that.
I didn't know that he did Hellboy. I've not heard good things about this movie, and I really like David Harbour.
Yeah. No, I've heard it's not very good at all. I don't know. I don't know that it was the right time for a Hellboy movie.
It wasn't. It wasn't the right time. Well, if they were trying to finish it, then it should have been Guillermo. But I just think that they're like, Ron Perlman's too old. Guillermo's, he's just gonna be too big. Like, he's just not gonna do it. He's really, really trying to get this he's trying to get this At the Mountains of Madness going. So he's not gonna commit to the third Hellboy. Yeah, maybe it was he was just too busy. They were like, well, let's reboot it. Let's do another Hellboy. Yeah, they should have waited.
This stinks of like a rights issue or something, kind of like that Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
I didn't watch that.
If we don't, well, nobody has. It was never officially released. I have a documentary about it actually. Another movie about making movies.
Is it the Miles Teller one or the old?
No, that's Fant Four Stick. This one was from 1990, I think, or 1994. It was a movie that was produced for the most cynical of reasons, in that the only reason they made the film was to retain the intellectual property rights. So basically, in order to continue sitting on the Fantastic Four, the film rights to the Fantastic Four, they had a deadline wherein they had to produce a feature film using those characters. So they contracted Roger Corman to make something on the quick and on the cheap, just a Fantastic Four movie, and then they just never released it. So as long as it existed, they could retain the rights to those characters. So it was just a way to sit on. The same thing happened with the Amazing Spider-Man movies, where it's like Sony wanted to continue owning Spider-Man on film, so they made a movie. Didn't matter if it was good, they just needed to make a movie. And this stinks of that, where it's like, oh shit, it's been a while since we had a Hellboy movie. It's like, we want to keep holding on to Hellboy, right? It's like, yeah, let's make something. It's like, let's get the Dog Soldiers guy. Let's get the Dog Soldiers guy and the Stranger Things guy, who is yet unproven to be able to carry a film. It stinks of that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but as far as I've heard, it's not very good. But moving on, Pacific Heights. Holy shit. I might end up buying this.
I feel like I've seen this when I was a kid. I just don't remember anything about it.
So my parents rent properties to people, and I remember my dad telling me, like, this movie is important. Like, if you are ever somebody who owns property and serves as a landlord to somebody or something, you need to watch this movie, because the way Michael Keaton manipulates the law and does awful things to this property, it's cringe-inducing. It's a very good thriller. I kind of really like this movie. It's weird, but I like it. Missing Link. This movie was not marketed very well at all, but this is a Leica Studios stop-motion animation, and they're just amazing. Like, their work is just incredible. So I probably won't end up watching this, but I really ought to, and the rest of y'all should too, because stop-motion's amazing. Is that Willem? That is.
Yes, I think this is his first film role, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, because I remember that video you had me watch of him talking about it.
He told the director that he was doing theater at the time, and he told the director he knew how to ride a motorcycle, and he didn't know how to ride a motorcycle.
Yep. And what is he riding on the cover of this film? A motorcycle.
Yeah, but they're just like, we got to get this guy in a movie anyway. I need to see The Antichrist. That's been on my list of things. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Is that Lars von Trier?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew some folks that were really into his work, and challenging does not begin to describe it. I have not taken it upon myself to dive in just yet, but forever fascinated by his stuff.
Critters Attack. Is this a sequel to the Critters films?
Yeah, this is from 2019. Kyle, why do you not have Shudder?
I know, I should, but the problem is that it's a service that I would have to pay monthly for that now I can actually use because my girlfriend doesn't live in this apartment. I could actually enjoy watching horror movies anytime. And now that you mention it, this is a good time that I could invest in that.
You might want to consider it because it is tailor-made for you. And they're producing a lot of original content. They're doing that slippery shit for they're making a lot of interesting horror stuff that is only available there for now.
Oh.
And I want to say this movie was produced through Shudder. I could be totally wrong with that, but I do know that they're producing a lot of original content. And it just seems like something that would work for you.
Well, there's a couple of horror movies on my list that I was going to watch, and they're like, no, you have to have Shudder to get that. I'm like, well, motherfucker. All right, fine, I'll pick it up.
I would, maybe take it upon yourself to look over their catalog, and like when it rotates to the point where it's like, wow, that's a lot of stuff I want to see. Maybe like grab it for a month. Moving on down, we got Master Z, the Ip Man Legacy. I already own this because I'm one of those guys. I've owned this for several months now. I went out of my way to import a Blu-ray from Hong Kong, and this movie's not very good. It does feature Dave Bautista. He acquits himself quite well, although I was massively disappointed by the fact that he doesn't really do as much like wrestling type moves as I would have liked to have seen. Because I mean, Max Zhang is a talented martial arts performer, but he's diminutive, and when you put him next to Dave Bautista, it's a big guy and a little guy. You need to have the big guy like throw the little guy around, like ragdoll him. But he doesn't, and it looks clumsy because it's like, why the fuck doesn't he just power bomb him or like Batista bomb him or something? And in fact, that was one thing that really irritated me was he actually picks up Max Zhang in like Batista bomb fashion. So if you're not familiar, Batista's finishing move as a wrestler was called the Batista bomb, and it's a sit down power bomb. And he picks him up like in the perfect position to do so, and he doesn't do it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why did you do that? Yeah, it was very disappointing. The choreography is at times pretty good, but never remarkable. It looks cheap. This is a spin-off for the Ip Man movies proper, and it feels like it. I was pretty disappointed with this, if you couldn't tell already. But that's enough of that. What else we got here? A bunch of re-releases. Even this anime is mostly just re-releases. So let's skip on down to the last week of July 30th. And bam! Right out the gate, we get something big that I am probably going to buy. Glory on 4K.
Lord,
1989.
Lord.
Oh my Lord.
I tried to explain to Steph how this gets stuck in my head. She's like, "How does it get stuck in your head?" I'm like, "It just does." Okay, I don't know why.
When they get to the when they get to the yeah,
it really
you get into
kicks
it.
in. It kicks in.
Yeah,
You
feel it.
I would suggest people watch this. I mean, you should watch it. It's important. Matthew Broderick is not fit for this time period.
No.
You get to see something fascinating. I remember this very distinctly. You get to see a nervous Denzel Washington, which is not. It's very uncharacteristic of characters he plays. I don't remember why he was nervous in the film, but I remember seeing him like, oh, he's nervous. Denzel's never nervous. He's always very, very confident in whatever he's doing. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove.
Shit's chess, not checkers.
They'll be in Pelican Bay on 23-hour lockdown. Love it.
I love Glory. It's a fantastic film. It was like one of the best movies I ever had to watch in school. And man, there's just so much to it. Like, I think James Horner did the music for it. It's like one of the most beautiful / haunting scores out there. The boys choir that they used for a lot of the tracks is just unbelievable. Carrie Elwes is very charming in it.
Oh, I forget.
Like you said, Matthew Broderick is probably the weakest component of it. They should have gotten anyone else. Like, especially because he's supposed to have kind of like a southern twang on his voice too, and he just can't pull it. It's like Keanu doing a British accent. It just doesn't fit. But Morgan Freeman, Denzel, Andre Braugher, they're all fantastic in it. And I've said it many times. I think this movie was actually what taught me what acting was. The scene when Denzel is getting whipped, and he's just staring into Matthew Broderick's soul. It's like, whoa, I feel something. And I was really young when I saw this, and it was just like, whoa, like I'm feeling something watching this, and I'll never forget that. So this is something I probably will buy day one. What else we got here? The Quartermass films. These are movies that I only know by name, but apparently it's like a decently long-lived franchise. Like, it's a very long-lived franchise. In fact, it's kind of like a serial or something. I'm not familiar with it, but I see the name pop up a lot, and it's something that I've always been curious, like what it actually is. Humanoids from the Deep.
That cover is awesome, but I can tell you right now that cover does not do that movie. I'm sorry, the movie does not do that cover justice.
This is the rapey merman movie, right?
I'm not familiar with this. I'm kind of interested in it though. It looks like it could kind of be fun.
I think this is another Roger Corman film. I saw this long time ago when I was obsessed with aquatic monster movies, and it's uncomfortable at times because I think it is the rapey merman movie. But some of the makeup effects are kind of cool, and it's good trashy fun if you can get past the more uncomfortable parts of it, which I'm sure a lot of people can't. Turbo, a Power Rangers movie from 1997. I never saw that. That was around the time I kind of gave up on Power Rangers. I feel like there's a thing with TV, especially kids television, where as soon as you get to the point where you make a movie, that's where I check out.
Yeah.
Like, that's usually the turning point. Like, as soon as you make that movie, I stop caring. And that's kind of what happened with Power Rangers for me. As soon as we had Ivan Ooze, as soon as we had that shitty CGI, I stopped watching. BoJack Horseman, do you watch that, Kyle?
No, I've heard good things about it though. I've heard it's funny. It's Will Arnett, I believe, does the voice of him, and I like Will Arnett. He's very funny. But yeah, I haven't really watched it. I'm finishing up. We're in the middle of this season of Archer, and as I said, I've been trying to watch some more anime. So I haven't really put any other American cartoons on my watch list. But I'll probably end up watching this when it's all finished.
Okay. I've heard it's very dark, but also very funny. But obviously, I don't have Netflix, so I'm not watching it. Long Shot, Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron.
This looked like fun.
It did. It looked like good, cute fun.
Because we just watched Young Adult. I don't know if you've seen that with Charlize Theron.
I have.
I love it.
It's good.
It's great.
It's uncomfortable, but it's good.
It's very good. But yeah, this looked like a lot of fun. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of her movies. She doesn't usually disappoint. If you can look at one of her movies and you're like, oh, that's probably good. You're probably right, and I think this will be fun. But I haven't seen it yet.
The only one I've heard, like the only one that comes to mind anyway, that I've heard nothing but bad about was Aeon Flux.
Oh no, I did not think that was gonna be good.
Yeah, no, everybody could tell. Beside that, we have Hellmaster from 1992. It's an interesting cover, but I wouldn't call it good.
No, it's not a good cover, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it's from Vinegar Syndrome, which I think is like a boutique Blu-ray distributor, so it must be like a cult film of some sort. Play Dead, beside that, is also Vinegar Syndrome. Also an interesting but not good cover. Looks like maybe a killer dog movie. Domino from 2019. What is this? Brian De Palma? Fuck! A Copenhagen police officer seeks justice for his partner's murder by a mysterious man, and it has... Is that one of the Lannisters.
That is Jaime Lannister.
And Guy Pearce.
Ooh.
Oh! I've seen a trailer for this. But holy shit, I didn't know it was Brian De Palma.
I hate the cover. It makes me not want to watch it.
It's so nondescript. There's just nothing there.
It just looks like garbage. It looks like
Yeah,
when people are part of a major series or doing other movies, like when you see Dave Bautista in a movie when he's not doing Guardians of the Galaxy, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna be any good.
Yeah, it looks like one of those in between direct to video movies that somebody made on their lunch break.
That's not a good. Dave Bautista's not a good example, but this is when you see Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, like, oh, he's in a movie, like, yeah, it's probably not good.
By the way, speaking of Dave Bautista, that Stuber movie, they released a clip of it featuring Iko Uwais, the guy from the Raid movies and Man of Tai Chi, and they also put out a poster for it, and he's third build. I was like, holy shit, really?
I appreciate you reminding me who he is each time because I do not remember.
I've anticipated that, obviously. So without skipping a beat, that's why I do that. Just
I've
to
almost
remind
completely forgotten that movie.
Good for you. So moving on, the Big O, the complete collection. I might actually buy that because that is a solid anime. Second season, as far as I recall, was produced. It was produced on demand from American audiences. So they made the first season. It was purely a Japanese production, and then it was very well received, and the story kind of tapered off and didn't go anywhere. And then they put it on TV in America on Cartoon Network, and it did well enough that it did very well to the point that some production group or something in the States threw some money at the Japanese animation studio and said, "Hey, give us more." So it's an interesting case of a show being continued for reasons outside of like the original creator's demand.
What's the premise? Would it be something that I would enjoy?
It's like Dark City.
Ooh, really?
Where there's a whole. It's like a city wherein, like, there's a chunk of time that's just lost, and people just keep going about their day. And then the main character has a big giant like steam robot that he punches other big robots with. And the animation, I think, was it was done by the same folks that did the Batman animated series, although several degrees better in terms of quality. Because as far as I know, there aren't that many episodes, and some of the animation is brilliant in it.
Why did
really
they take
fluid
it?
Stuff.
That really pissed me off that they took it off of Prime.
Oh, the Batman animated series?
Well, I mean, they had to sell the Blu-ray. They did it before they released it on Blu-ray. So they're like, no, we can't let people be watching this for free because we had to charge them for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but the timing suggests that maybe Warner Brothers wanted to get it away from Amazon or something. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe Warner Brothers has like their own streaming service or something they want to get going. Everybody's going to have one eventually.
Correct.
Ugly Dolls 2019 sing-along edition. I think this is like, I think I read that this was like animated by a Korean studio. And it's not good. But apparently it's based off of those toys, the Ugly Dolls. Everything's getting a movie now. The Intruder. This looked fun. This looked like so much stupid fun.
It looks problematic is what it looks like, what it looks like.
It looks problematic, but holy shit, it looks fun. Just the concept of Dennis Quaid as evil bigot neighbor terrorizing young hot black couple. It's like, that's amazing. On paper, that just sounds immensely entertaining.
Speaking of young and hot, what's going on with this chick right next to her with the red hair? Yeah,
Elfin Lied. I saw the first episode of it because I had a friend in like high school that. So, I mean, just looking at the cover, you can tell this is targeted at teenage boys. So in high school, this was hot shit, especially when we're in America and anime is hard to come by, and then you find this on the internet. Of course, you're gonna watch it. So my friend was really up on it, and I was like, this is making me kind of uncomfortable, guys. Don't really want to watch it with the group of dudes. It's incredibly violent, and then like the portrayal of the lead, yeah, it's very sexual, and the lead character is also like portrayed as like borderline autistic and like childlike in mentality, so it complicates things even further and makes it even more uncomfortable.
Makes it really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's garbage, but it's garbage that a lot of people really love, and it mixes those weird genres where it's like a sci-fi fantasy thing with lots of nudity and intense violence, but then like the core of the storytelling is about like young people that are exploring their feelings. So I've heard it described as the feels, the show. So it's very melodramatic, very emotional, and it's definitely something that if you can't tap into that, if you don't have that young person's mentality and ability to like buy into the drama of silly things, you probably won't get anything from it. Which is why I haven't bothered watching it, because I don't have that tool anymore. I lost it. Beside that, we have The Swindlers, which is a Korean film. I think heist films always clean up in Korea, and I think this is no exception. If I remember right, that one made a shit ton of money. Beside that, we have The Island, which is a Chinese movie. I don't know this one, but that cover art's pretty handsome. The color palette's nice. Has a bunch of actors I don't know. That's nice. Rupon, when my brother was living in Japan, that was their nickname for him, because he had short hair and sideburns, just like Rupon, and he was thin. A bunch of TV stuff. El Chicano. This is produced and written, I think, by Joe Carnahan, who at one point in time was like kind of a big deal in Hollywood. He did The Gray, but then he did The A-Team, and then we don't talk about him as much anymore.
Yeah. That A-Team is awful.
It's bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it doesn't deliver on any front. It's not funny. It's not clever. The action's kind of anemic. Casting is interesting, but I wouldn't say inspired. Because like Liam Neeson isn't a good fit for that role. Quentin Jackson, Rampage as B.A. Baracus was not bad. I'll give him that. And then Bradley Cooper's just like slumming it. He's not really contributing that much. It was just not a good movie. But El Chicano, I remember hearing a lot about this because it's supposed to be like a Mexican American superhero movie, which is something that I'm utterly shocked has not happened yet. Given demographics and money to be made and stuff. As far as I know, it kind of came and went though. Didn't really succeed on any front. So it's a thing that happened. Maybe we'll try again later. In fact, guaranteed we'll try again later. Fat, a documentary. From 2019. Okay, so it's about health in America. There's a lot of documentaries about that subject. So yeah, I don't really see much else going. Oh, here, Marlon Brando. A Streetcar Named Desire. It seems like we can't go an episode without talking about Marlon Brando.
Seriously.
So this is from 1951, Warner Brothers Archive Collection. And I think that's about it for the month of July.
Yeah.
Kyle, did you see anything that you would run out to grab?
No.
Or anything you'd go nuts for? Not even The Doors?
No, because I've seen it enough times that I'm like, I'll just try to find a way to stream it. I'm not going to buy it. Or I'll just wait for somebody else to buy it and borrow it. But no, not enough for me to buy.
Yeah, I think the only one I would buy at this point is Glory on 4K. That one definitely jumped out at me. And then a couple of things I might rent, but that's about it. So July is kind of a bust. And I think you are right. It probably does have something to do with the nice weather and people probably not being as prone to staying. Oh, never mind. Gundam: The Origin. I will buy that. because I already have the first half of it, and I am excited to see the conclusion. And that's July 2nd, so that one right around the corner. But yeah, that was our catching up on Blu-ray for the month of July 2019. Thanks for listening, and I guess we'll catch you next time.
Yep.